top 5 best matches for portal QBs. And Emery loves this portal icon, this graphic he gets to use. So I think anytime I send him a portal one, and I'll mind you, there were a couple guys that jumped in that happened, and it's gonna be hard to keep up with. Like, I'm gonna try to do some portal stuff next week because it's really interesting, but it is starting to move so fast that if I leave anything out, or Emery's going to have to be ready because we might have to change something where I'll do one in the morning and send it to him so we can do the graphics, and then by the afternoon, it's moot. So it's happened to us a couple of times. I had one last year that I was all excited for it, and then by the time I got to the show, I was like, well, that's over.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know here in 15 minutes, name a guy could jump and, fly into the portal and shake up the entire thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very minute by minute almost, or hour by hour kind of deal now at this stage, and it's only going to get crazier here in about 3 days. So yeah.
Number 5, Tyler Van Dyke was at Miami, Wake Forest. He knows the ACC. He's had success in the ACC. I think the slow mesh offense would help cut down on his turnovers, plus being so run heavy. I don't like it when you have to give up on guys, or it's just maybe not a fit there at Miami anymore, or he's kind of been exposed in that offense and needs some new blood. But I do think that of the guys who's in who've had some success, and Tyler Van Dyke did 2 years ago at Miami, I think Wake Forest is a good match for him because of the offense that Dave Clawson runs. And they are without a quarterback completely on that roster, so I would not be surprised. I would have thought SMU for him because of Rhett Lashley, but Preston Stone is coming back next year, even though he's been injured. So he's not going to go there and start, but he would go and start probably at Wake Forest.
Yeah, most likely, and you're right about Preston Stone. He's still got some eligibility left to take care of. That was really unfortunate, though, man. That was a bummer that he got hurt. He was having a really terrific year as a semifinalist for the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award that we put out there yesterday, and very deserving of that. But, yeah, I didn't even put together Rhett Lashley and Van Dyke, but you're right. I mean, he's gone and grabbed a few other Miami guys now at this point, so that certainly is possible. But you're exactly right in that with Preston Stone, you don't need to look that route. But yeah, you're right as far as the ACC familiarity. I'll leave it to the experts as far as his fit and the offense and things like that. But there is a need and a want, and on both sides here. So yeah, wouldn't have to travel too far per se from where he is, but pretty much anywhere not in the state of Florida is far away from Miami. But, that'd be an interesting fit.
Look, there's places in the state of Florida that are far away.
I know, I was thinking about Tallahassee to Miami.
Tallahassee to Miami is a long way. Pensacola to Miami is a long way. And you really know that when you live there, and Miami tries to get you to pay for something there. There'll be a bond type election where it's pay for this in Miami. I'm never going to go to that.
Yeah.
It's 8 hours from here. What are you talking about?
I think us in this part of the state, we think of, and I think people probably do this with Texas, Dallas and El Paso are close. It's no, they're not. They're not anywhere close. It's a day's drive to get to. No. But I think of the East Coast, it's West Virginia's close to, remember when every team, they're close to Connecticut and Cincinnati and so on and so forth. We have no idea what we're talking about with geography.
No, but I mean, it's still here, it's...
Yeah.
It's
he's on the eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
And he could stay on the eastern seaboard, so to speak. But, and in the ACC, and that would seem to work out well for both parties. But yeah, really disappointing year for him. Given just kind of the expectation rolling in. I know Miami fans are convinced that it's going to be a big NIL party again this offseason, and that's all that they need, really. But certainly his showing was not what was expected heading into this season.
Absolutely. Number 4, speaking of Miami, KJ Jefferson at Miami. Garrett, I want your opinion on this one. Shannon Dawson's the offensive coordinator there, at least for now. They were better on offense this year than they were a year ago. Quarterback is the position they have to lock down. KJ Jefferson is super athletic and needs a new voice. I think Shannon Dawson, who was really successful at Houston, I guess with De'Aaron King, he would have been there with him. And De'Aaron King went to Miami. KJ Jefferson and De'Aaron King, similar skill sets, although KJ Jefferson's a lot bigger than De'Aaron King is. But a mobile guy who can move around, I think that would be a shot in the arm for Miami's offense. And that he could be somebody who could bridge the gap until they get the guy in there who they can develop, because they haven't had that yet. And I know they started Emory Williams at the end of the year. before he broke his arm in the FSU game. But I think KJ Jefferson of Miami makes a lot of sense to me.
No, I think it does too. I mean, he would just definitely need some more playmakers to work with, especially after listening to Cole and talk about his array of receivers at Arkansas that didn't do him much favors. No, I think it would be a good fit. Let him cut loose, use his legs some. I think having played up against the SEC, going to the ACC and seeing those defenses, he should navigate that as well. No, I think it would be definitely a good fit for him in South Beach.
Yeah, they got some targets out there. You got Restrepo is a lot of fun, and some other guys that he could definitely sling it around too. But KJ Jefferson lost Kendall Briles, and just kind of the wheels fell off without that relationship being in place this year. And obviously Sam Pittman's on the hot seat, so I don't blame KJ Jefferson for deciding to move with all the changes that are going on. But certainly, I mean, like I said, Miami seems like they're going to be big game hunting this offseason in the portal, and he would certainly be a big target and at a big area of need. So, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised to see them get in the Will Howard game either.
I think anybody, really. Yeah, I need to look further into who fits. But, yeah, certainly there's multiple options out there for them. They're going to land somebody out of the portal pretty obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, Grayson McCall, Auburn. I think this is. I think this was. I don't know, maybe the bridge was burned last year when he got back in the. He went back to Coastal after all this. I'm not sure, but I just think that you've got a guy who's won a lot. He's probably a guy who can play well in the SEC, especially with some of the playmakers I think Auburn's going to bring in. You heard Cole Kubelik in the last segment talk about, where Auburn, they're about where they should be under Hugh Freeze year one. Hugh Freeze needs his quarterback. He clearly doesn't have it right now. Grayson McCall's won a lot. Obviously, that was under Jamie Chadwell. Jamie Chadwell's at Liberty. I just think this makes too much sense not to happen. But Auburn might be in it for another quarterback, and there might be 100 other guys in the portal that are better than Grayson McCall come Monday. We don't know, but I do think this is a fit, especially if you get a veteran in there that can run things and run that offense at Hugh Freeze pretty well. I think Grayson McCall and Auburn are a nice fit.
So you just giving up on Peyton Thorne just like that? No,
Saying,
I am. Yeah, I totally am.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's understandable. Yeah, I mean, they could definitely stand to improve there. I've seen a lot of smoke about Philip Montgomery, but nothing official. But there's, rumors flying around about him possibly being out, but I haven't seen anything official on that.
I'm not surprised because there's no way that he called the plays, and because that's Hugh Freeze's deal.
Yeah.
And so that was probably a good – I always thought that was going to be a one-year hitch for him at Auburn because he's just out at Tulsa just a year ago. So I always thought it was going to be a one-year deal. And there are places that run that offense that will hire Philip Montgomery in a heartbeat. So
all over the SEC right now. At Tennessee, at Mississippi State, about to be at Oklahoma. Well, we'll see what kind of changes they make with Luttrell there. But compared to Levy's, background, but yeah, I mean, it's Oliver. He's one of the originals, I guess, of that style of offense.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him go work with Levy. Like that.
I mean, there's rumors about him, rumors about Briles or Kendall Briles. Mm-hmm. That part will be interesting. Does he have more leeway in that regard to hire familiar faces, even though they're from that time, or is that completely off limits of you can't hire your brother-in-law?
Well, I wonder if they'll just let him acknowledge that his father-in-law is alive.
Right? Is he going to be able to wear Auburn gear and be on? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all of that.
I don't know. So we'll see.
But Grayson McCall would make a lot of sense for them, and would be a great pickup for sure. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what all he gets as far as suitors. I've seen. What was it I saw yesterday? Florida State speculation in regards to him and a couple of other guys, since you figured Jordan Travis will be leaving, but. Certainly, Auburn would fit the bill.
Yeah. Number 2, Will Howard at Nebraska. If Riley, we'll get to the first one in a second, but let's just say Riley Leonard is off the board for Nebraska, which I think he's a great fit there, but I think he's probably going elsewhere, and you'll see that in a second. But I think Will Howard in Nebraska is a great fit. I think that with the toughness that Nebraska will play with, the style of offense they want to run, his skill set, that will work out well. They need to get more skilled players, not just him, but I think that we may not even know how good their wide receivers and running backs are because the quarterbacks were just so bad this year.
Harburg led them in rushing.
Yeah.
It's not like he started every game all year long either. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how like woeful they were on the, as far as like a standout stud type of a running back. So yeah, they could stand to grab some weapons and surround Will Howard or whoever else with some fun toys.
Yeah. So I think it's a great fit. And look, if they're going to go spend that $1 million, I think that's a good $1 million they could spend. Now, again, we don't know. I could change this list again on Monday when the list changes.
Yeah, for sure.
I think DJ, you would be a good fit there as well, in the kind of offense that they run.
Yeah, just knowing kind of Matt Rule's style. I mean, somebody who's got the ability to make plays with their feet. But, Will Howard kind of checks the boxes of just a solid, proven, veteran, big game playing, just good quarterback. I mean, he's not the best quarterback in this class, but he is, I think, one of the better ones. And again, it'll kind of just depend on who all continues to join this thing. But I mean, he's a Big 12 champion. He won the title a year ago, and he's got a phenom behind him potentially. And it was a very up and down year at Kansas State, but I think a change in scenery could do him good, and he's very solid. So yeah, I think he'd definitely be an upgrade for Nebraska and a lot of other programs for that matter.
Kyle Visser said Dante Moore to Michigan. I mean, it might be Michigan State. Who knows? Dante
Could
Moore,
be Oregon. Yeah, I mean,
Dante Moore is going to be able to just sit around and let the phone ring. For
I mean, there's just so many dadgum guys to sort through here, and
he's
they're
not
all
on this list because he just it happened after.
Yeah, and we still, with him, unlike a Will Howard, we've seen so little in comparison to a lot of the other veteran quarterbacks as well. But no, you're right. You say Chris said that? Chris? Yeah, so you're right, Chris, that could very well be possible. I mean, he'll certainly be sought after. And, yeah, just line everybody up, man. It's going to be a wild ride seeing where all of these guys land and all the other ones that we don't even know about yet.
Yeah. Number 1, Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's probably just going to keep doing this for a little while.
If it works.
If it works. And then, that allows them to maybe finally find their quarterback that they can sit for a year and then be the guy for a while. They have a nice enhanced NIL package at Notre Dame. It's only going to keep getting bigger. I'll tell you this. In my life as a Catholic, the only time a church ever closes is that they want to move the building. Notre Dame's all part of that. There's not I know there's somebody can probably tell me a story of oh, that's really tragic and sad, but for the most part, the church closes because this neighborhood's kind of changed. There's not anybody here anymore. We're going to move this church over to here, and that's where it's going to be because we're going to build a new building.
Unless you're Joel Osteen.
What?
Unless you're Joel Osteen.
Closed, baby. Hurricanes coming. Closed.
But Notre Dame, they're going to have as much, as they want.
It's Notre Dame.
They've cleared out their wide receiver room is going to be essentially empty. They keep losing guys in that, so they've got to do something about that. But Riley Leonard plus some playmakers at wide receiver, I think you'll see Notre Dame probably step up even more. I think as much as I like Sam Hartman, they didn't give him the playmakers. Riley Leonard, to me, is the same or maybe even a little bit better than Sam Hartman as far as his overall skill set goes. And so if he winds up at Notre Dame, which is the rumor that they think is going to happen, then the Irish are going to be well set up next year.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Hartman still had a fine year. I mean, it just wasn't like he was in the Heisman race or anything like that. And, I think if it's a situation where doing the whole transfer portal quarterback thing works for you and your desired destination like Notre Dame is, then, why not go to that well again as opposed to the struggles you had in just trying to maintain it in-house, right? I mean, it seems like you took a step forward by using the portal. So, I mean, it's a rumor, but it's also what basically every national reporter attached to this story had out there almost immediately was, look for Notre Dame here. Watch out for Notre Dame. That was included in every mention of this. So that was a big flashing sign of what's likely to happen. And if, the Irish get him, then that would be a really good pickup. And I just hated that he got hurt when he did. That was such a fun story there with Duke. And I don't know how many Duke football fans there are, but what a double whammy of a situation. Only probably Oregon State worse off maybe than you as far as in your feelings right now. I'm sure there's others that are contenders for that too. But Riley Leonard to Notre Dame just seems like it's a given at this point. And that'd be one domino that falls. But a lot of other opportunities open.
You know, talking